what way do you think that lump sum or payout actually helps?
I'm very thankful that Kim Heng, okay, about me endlessly. Okay, so to actually take up this policy just barely a few years before I got cancer. And I remember at that point in time I was struggling with my finances, and despite being a financial advisor myself many years ago when I first started off as one of my first job, that was actually one of the first few things I knew was very important. You take life, you take disability, you take critical illness. These are the three main things. Don't talk about medical yet those days, you know. And to actually disregard that policy, I gave it up, and not be covered critically was really taking a big risk considering the risk factor that my family, my relatives had. So definitely that claim came in very handy because it helped to tie over this time. Can you imagine being unemployable, which is a nicer word of rendered unemployable, maybe no longer employable, okay, despite a doctor's letter, since diagnosis in 2017. And thanks to the fact that most, if not all of the hospital claim consultations are being covered by existing policy, this claim helped me to tie over the time since then on a daily basis. I mean, after all, I still need to eat, I still need to pay my bills, I still need to the essential. Okay, I unfortunately I couldn't contribute to much to my mom's. You know, you get my parents, especially my mom. So I told her this one has to stop for a while. But otherwise, I can say that for a while, I have not been needing to depend on my wife to support me, and I'm very thankful for that. So in a way, it's like, and I still have a reasonable savings from the amount, at least probably one third of it nicely invested in funds recommended by Jing Xing. So your role as an advisor comes in very handy because like what I think one of them was mentioning, I think it was Jing Xing. You know, yeah, a lot of people get the money, but they're not financially knowledgeable enough to actually decide, okay, what do I do with this money? First, put it this way, going through a crisis is bad enough, but going through a crisis and not having a buffer, that's even worse. Imagine if I didn't have this coverage, I had absolutely stubbornly refused him a couple of years back and said, Jing, just get out of my house, forget it. I know you're my friend, my brother's classmate or whatever, but sorry, I just cannot afford it. So thanks, brother. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's a two-way traffic lah. Of course, like I mentioned, you could have shut the door back then. Yeah. So
I could have slammed it in your face. But unfortunately, you're a Liverpool fan and my wife is a Man U one, so we need some rival lah.
Yeah, but thank God, I know you before you know your wife lah.
Yeah. That's a good thing.
Okay. We did for his claim is that other than taking care of his expenses, we actually put part of it into our PAM lah. Okay, which I was doing a quick calculation along the way. Since 2017 when he first made the claim, he threw in part of the money, and along the way, this sum of money actually, other than taking care of his daily expenses, he also took part of it to venture into some business. Yeah, which I think that was something very important when our role comes in, is that like what Kevin mentioned just now, is that other than taking care of his daily expenses, he don't really need to put the financial burden on the spouse. And to me, it's the end of the day, whether as an individual or to our survivor beneficiaries, is that end of the day, as a patient or as a policy holder ourselves, we can actually still live in dignity, and that is something very important. Whereby, yeah, I mean, we are down, but we are not out lah. That's basically the thing I want to pass across. And and with that claims that comes in, like I mentioned, he actually use it for to start off some of his coaching business and so on, which is also good in the sense that we realize that he is not actually using funds from his reserve. No,
Yeah.
so technically speaking, no, where you're talking about no either using 10 to 20, 30,000 for the to start up a business, and in layman term, he can afford to lose this money because these are really funds that are from the claims, and not only he take care of the daily expenses, he also can start afresh lah, from second
Yeah,
life
yeah.
and so on and so forth. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's funny.
okay, so um, especially for financial advisors who are early in the business, okay, they always feel in a way feel bad okay, because they feel that oh, when I'm going to market a insurance product per se to you, I can be a little bit too pushy, or things like that, and they tends to hold back, okay, or rather putting it in a nicer way, not as persistent as we hope they are. Okay, so what could be your advice to this group of advisors who didn't really do enough to convince their clients to get adequate coverage?
Human nature is very nice. By nature, we are nice people. We don't be sound as pushy. But once you enter, you got to understand that in life, whether you're a financial advisor, you're a teacher, you're a bartender, you are a salesperson. The question is, what product are you selling?
Hmm.
I thought as a teacher, I was not in sales anymore. But when I was told by an ex-salesman who became a trainer or teacher that actually a teacher is one of the worst sales job in the world. You know, you get paid so little and yet you got to sell so much. Bro. And I was like, what the hell am I selling? You see, convincing the client or the student the value of an education which cannot be measured in dollars and cents. So just like what Kim Heng, Chin Sing, Mr. Chan is saying, okay, when we go and speak to our prospective client or even existing client, we must look at it this way. How important is this person to me? Am I looking at this person as just a contributing factor, or am I looking at this person as a human being who could have a better life should something happen to him, after, I've spoken to a couple of other insurance advisors, and many have given a claim check to the beneficiary's family. But imagine giving it to a living claimant. The feeling is different. The feeling is different. Okay, I don't know how our dear Mr. Chan Kim Heng felt when he give this. I'm sure he has given to a lot of beneficiaries' family. But I'm looking at it from a perspective that, think of it this way. You are selling something to somebody hoping that it will not happen. And my biggest regret is when I was starting out in this industry, I was not pushy enough. I didn't want to be responsible for someone else's decision. But I did not realize that I am not responsible for their decision making. I'm just responsible, as far as I'm concerned, have I done everything I possibly can to convince them of the importance of whatever it is they should take up. As an educator, as a trainer, I tell my participants, I'm here to teach you, but if you're not ready to learn, the door is not locked. Okay, so same thing. I'm not trying to sound pushy, but I can be damn pushy as an educator, as a trainer. Don't see yourself as a salesperson, see yourself as a educator. A lot of people don't know the value of insurance, be it the older generation or even the younger generation. See, and it is our job as educators, whether you're a salesperson or an educator, to actually re-educate them, so that, but more importantly, from their perspective, share with them through their heart, not with